All right, guys, so Trump decided to weigh in on the Israel-Gaza war. I feel weird calling it a war because it's not really a war. You had Hamas do a terror attack against innocent civilians in Israel on October 7th, and then you had Israel respond to that by doing collective punishment against all Palestinians in Gaza and murking innocent civilians with bombs from the sky left and right. So at this point, it's more of a slaughter than a war. But anyway, Trump wants to weigh in, and you're not going to be surprised to learn that he's posturing as, I am the most pro-Israel out of anybody in the world. So let's listen to some of his commentary.
On that terrible Saturday morning, the world saw once again that the conflict between Israel and Hamas is not a conflict between two equal sides. This is a fight between civilization and savagery, between decency and depravity, and between good and evil. There is no comparison between a group that worships death and a group that cherishes life and cherishes our nation. Every single life that is lost in this conflict is on the shoulders of Hamas. Hamas alone. It's Hamas alone.
This point drives me crazy. So Israel has no agency whatsoever. When they cut off power, food, fuel, water to over 2 million people, that's Hamas's fault. When they purposefully target civilian infrastructure like apartment buildings and mosques and hospitals and innocent people fleeing on the road from the north to the south, which is what Israel told them to do, that's Hamas's fault. It's all Hamas's fault. When they only allow in 4% of the aid trucks that are needed through the Egypt border, that's Hamas's. It's all Hamas. Everything's Hamas's fault. That is so stupid. That is so stupid. And that is no different than Hamas blaming Israel for all of their problems. Right? Like literally everything is Israel's fault. No, it's not. Some things are your own fault. And so everybody has agency. Everybody has agency. Hamas chose to target innocent civilians. That's a crime. Israel is choosing to bomb innocent people. That is a crime, and they are choosing it. I have a bridge to sell you if you don't believe that at this late date. It's so obvious that they're purposely doing this. That's why you have 62% of the dead are women and children. That's why you have only 13 confirmed Hamas fighters killed out of 8,000 deaths. God. But look, this is what he's doing, right? This is what the line Trump's going with. There's pure good, there's pure evil. As Netanyahu said, we're forces of the light versus forces of the darkness. There is no nuance. There is no ambiguity. We have pure right and pure wrong, and that's the end of the conversation.
I think you have to really add in the word Iran. Iran.
Oh, so now warmongering with Iran, too. Surprise, from the guy who ripped up the Iran deal, which was working perfectly.
Want to talk about it? There can be no sympathy, no excuses, and no escape from these monsters, and we will do what has to be done.
What's that? That's pretty ominous. What's the thing? What will you do that has to be done? What has to be done? All right, well, he's going to give us some more. Same topic. Here we go.
When I'm back in the White House, the United States will stand with Israel all the way, 100%, without hesitation, without qualification, and without any apology. We're not going to be apologizing. We won't be apologizing.
Won't be apologizing. Won't be apologizing. Over 2,000 children are dead. Over 8,000 civilians are dead. No apologies. By the way, they're being killed with U.S. bombs supplied to Israel, and we're, of course, committing to giving them more bombs to kill more civilians. No apologies. Everything's great here. We love this. We love bombing. We love carpet bombing babies.
We're not going to be apologizing. We will fully support the Israelis in their mission to ensure that Hamas is decimated and these atrocities will be avenged. They will be avenged. In many ways, they'll be avenged. I think even beyond what you're thinking about. The wars have to be finished oftentimes before the peace. And if you don't do the wars, the peace doesn't happen. And if you're not going to be tough and ruthless like they are, it's not going to happen. We have to stop it. We have to end it once and...
If you're not going to be tough and ruthless like they are, so you want the Israeli government to act like Hamas, who just purposely killed innocent civilians. Well, Israel's doing that too, so you're getting your wish. By the way, of course, this is spiraling out of control. There's going to be consequences for this, man. You can't just have a slaughter, carpet bombing of an open-air prison where you massacre civilians and have no reaction to that.
After decades of broken promises by past leaders, I kept my promise, recognized Israel's eternal capital, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. I actually got the building built, too.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. All these shitty deals that he did, moving the embassy, and by the way, he's going to touch on this in a second too. Taking over $100 million from Sheldon Adelson and giving him whatever the hell he wants, like, for example, ripping up the Iran agreement, that has consequences. Even like the Abraham Accords and whatnot. The strategy of the Trump administration was, let's pretend like Palestinians don't exist, and let's try to have Israel make peace with other Arab nations, and let's just forget Palestinians exist, and then everything will work out. Well, how'd that work? We know what happened. One of the reasons that this terror attack happened is because they were trying to throw a wrench in the new Israel-Saudi Arabia peace talks. Because you can't make peace with nations that you're nominally not even at war with at the moment. You're just disregarding the existence of Palestinians for a PR win. Well, guess what? It didn't work, and it massively backfired, and he's never going to own it.
They've been talking about that for a long time, Miriam. That's what you and that great man, that's what you wanted, right? And we got it built.
He's literally talking to Sheldon Adelson's wife. Sheldon Adelson passed away, of course. He's talking to Miriam, saying, hey, look, I gave you guys what you wanted, right? Yeah, why? Because they paid him a tremendous amount of money. This is unbelievable. He's bragging about how corrupt he is on stage while talking about Mideast politics.
You know, we got it built, and it's supposed to cost $2 billion. We got it done for $500,000. I'm proud to be the best friend that Israel has ever had. Everybody says, are you, sir, the best friend that Israel's ever had? And with 4 more years, I will defend America, and I will defend Western civilization from the barbarians and savages and fascists that you see right now.
The throwback, those evil, dastardly Muslims are barbarians and savages, and we, the West, represent all that is good and holy and just as we bomb babies into the Stone Age.
To do harm to our beautiful Israel. We're not going to let that happen. This is a strange thing that's happening in our country. While in office, I took the strongest action of any president in history to combat the vile scourge of anti-Semitism. You know that. I signed a landmark executive order fighting anti-Semitic hate on college campuses and affirming that discrimination against Jewish students will be aggressively punished as a violation of civil rights. And that we didn't have that, if you can believe it. What we have to do is we have to get out and vote. This is the most important election in the history of our country, because if we don't win this election, I really believe you're not going to have Israel anymore, and you're not going to have the United States of America anymore.
All right, so giving a sloppy, wet blowjob to the government of Israel as they carry out an ethnic cleansing and a slaughter fest in Gaza. All right, I got one more for you on this. Look at this. So Trump posted this on Truth Social. When I am back in the White House, America's enemies will know once again that if you try to kill our citizens, we will kill you. If you spill a drop of American blood, we will spill a gallon of yours. Can you believe there are some people dumb enough to think this guy's anti-war? Some people have argued sincerely, in earnest, that Trump is not a neocon. Even though he had Gina Haspel, one of the top torturers in the country. She was in his administration. John Bolton was a top advisor to him on national defense, even though when it comes to Bolton, it's offense. It's not defense. This guy's never met a war he didn't like. Even though Trump himself tried to coup Venezuela. Remember that? They just said, Juan Guaido is the president, even though he wasn't. Even though he didn't pull out of Iraq, even though he didn't pull out of Afghanistan, even though he's been openly saying he wants war with Mexico. He wants to invade Mexico to go after the drug cartels and designate them as terrorists. He wants either U.S. drones, U.S. airstrikes, or boots on the ground in Mexico. This is what this guy wants. He ripped up the Iran agreement, which Iran was following perfectly. He increased drone strikes by over 400%. All that stuff and all this stuff he's saying about Israel, and some people sincerely argue he's anti-war. So this is how he's posturing going into the next election. Oh yeah, Biden is supporting Israel. Well, I'm an even bigger supporter of Israel. I'll let them do whatever they want. I'm 100% with them. World War III, yes, World War III. Spill a gallon of blood in the Middle East, yes. Absolutely terrifying. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.